welcome to Razz Reviews. This video is part of my Oscar special where I'm going to be reviewing this year's best film nominees. And today I'm going to be reviewing Manchester by the Sea. Manchester by the Sea follows the story of an unlikable loner played by Casey Affleck who has to go home after his brother's death to take care of his nephew and so face the demons of his past. Going into this film, I didn't have a lot of expectations. I haven't seen a trailer or heard anything about it. I didn't know what the story was. And I watched it back when it premiered at the Dubai International Film Festival. And I found it to be a very powerful and artistic character study. So let's dig in and talk about the top 3 things that I liked about Manchester by the Sea. Number 3, the script. Manchester by the Sea has a very powerful script. It's a very subtle way of telling a story and it's a very subdued screenplay. The most impressive thing about this script is just how realistic it is. Many of us have lost loved ones or at least witnessed that process and the grieving process and the aftermath when someone dies in the family. And this film reflects it very accurately, emotionally, and in the little tiny details and nuances. The way the characters interact with each other and how they react to the situation was very authentic and it felt organic and it was very convincing. Never felt put on, never felt melodramatic or just part of a movie. Which at the same time made it very powerfully tragic. It's a really sad film and it's a really depressing script because life is like that. It's depressing. There's nothing big or dramatic happening for you to have some sort of catharsis because life is full of these little moments that just make your day worse. And the film reflects this accurately, which is kind of a downer but in a good way because it's really realistic and you feel it and you relate to it very much. The number 2 thing I liked about Manchester by the Sea was the subtlety. As with real life, this film is full of subtlety. It's full of these little nuances in what people say, in their gestures, what's between the lines. All of these things make up the mood and the atmosphere and the life that this story is trying to tell. And it's a very important thing that is rarely there in film. In cinema, we try to over-dramatize things for effect, for drama, for action, and for entertainment. However, this film does not take that route. It just represents realistically this person's life and his situation and the pain and the suffering that he has to deal with. And this is a prime example of show not tell. It never over-explains things or over-explains relationships. You just watch them unfold. I kind of felt like I was eavesdropping on these people. Like I was invited to the most awkward weekend ever and I'm just sitting and listening to them talk to each other and analyzing and trying to figure out who they are and what the circumstances that led to them being this way. Which is a very interesting experience for me as a viewer and I really enjoyed it. The number 1 thing I liked about Manchester by the Sea was Casey Affleck. No doubt about it, this film is the Casey Affleck show. He gives such a beautiful, subtle, and subdued performance about a man who's trying to escape his past. He just keeps it locked up tight in his chest, doesn't want to deal with it. It's a depressing performance, but a powerful one at that. If you want a prime example of the exact opposite of over-the-top and theatrical performances, it's Casey Affleck in this movie. He does a tremendous job at being a real human being who has a crappy life, who himself hates life, and he just doesn't want to be here. But he is. He just doesn't want to talk to anyone, doesn't want to deal with anyone. However, the film and the circumstances force him to have to deal with people, to have to take responsibility for certain things. So his struggle and his conflict was so beautifully portrayed by Casey Affleck. And him as an actor had to really dig deep and it was heartbreaking. The pain that he has and experiences is buried beneath so much stuff that you as a viewer don't see it right away. You see hints of it, it's there somewhere. But like I said, it's so subtle and it's really powerful and beautiful. Casey Affleck just like, oh, is that your heart? Yeah. Life sucks. And now I'm gonna move on to the top 3 things I didn't like about Manchester by the Sea. Number 3, I wanted more Michelle Williams. I personally feel like Michelle Williams is one of Hollywood's most underrated actresses right now. She is so great in everything I've seen her in, including this movie. She plays Casey Affleck's ex-wife, and they share a dramatic and painful past together, and you see it, and every time they see each other it hurts, and the way she plays it is just so beautiful. You can feel her pain just seeping through the screen, and I thought it was a powerful performance, and I really liked their scenes together. And for me, I wanted more of those scenes. I wanted to see them together, I wanted to see them interact, and I also would have liked to see more about their past and more about what happened between them exactly. So when the film ended, I found myself wishing there was more of her and more of her character because she played the character so well, and her character was really amazing, and the effect it had on the main character was also amazing, so I wish there was more. The number 2 thing I didn't like about Manchester by the Sea is that it was tough to get through. For me, the rewatchability value of this film is 0. I don't want to go through that again. This film is really hard to get through. It's so heavy, it's so sad, and it's also very slow. So it takes a lot to actually get through it. I understand that the film needed to be that way, and it's a beautiful film nonetheless, but it's not an experience I would want to repeat, nor do I think many other people would want to repeat. I understand the somber tone that the film had, and I think it works for it, but I still think it could have been a little faster. It did not have to be that long, and it did not have to be that slow. That was just torture. This movie reminded me of Foxcatcher a couple of years ago, another film that I thought was very powerful, but I have not watched again, and I don't think I can watch again. And as much as I respect this film and other films like it, I just have enough crap in my life to feel bad about, so I'd rather be more entertained in the cinema rather than just be there to feel bad and feel depressed. So for me personally, this kind of film is not my cup of tea. The number one thing I didn't like about Manchester by the Sea was an abrupt ending. This film just ends, suddenly, without any warning. It just goes boop. The end. The story was going on until it wasn't. So the movie's like, yeah, you feel bad now? You're depressed? Good. Bye. And that's it. No warning, no goodbye, no resolution. That's it. It's just over. And I really didn't like that. I didn't like how the film ended. All in all, I really liked Manchester by the Sea. I enjoyed watching it, but I would not want to watch it again. But it's definitely a powerful, well-made film, and it's really acted well. And for that, I'm gonna give Manchester by the Sea an 8. So, have you seen Manchester by the Sea? Did you like it? Do you want to watch it? Let me know in the comments section what you thought of it and what you think its Oscar chances are. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to ask me for anything else you'd like me to review for you next. See ya!